Welcome to Hannity, and this is a busy news night. Tonight, a new warning about the communist lunatic who could become New York City's next mayor from a possible Democratic presidential candidate born in the Bronx. Take a look.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me be very, very clear. If the Democratic Party becomes the likes of Zohran Mamdani, who, by the way, I like, I'm not trying to throw any shade on him or anything like that, but if the Democratic Party becomes him, you have no chance. You have no chance on a national basis in terms of the presidency. In Senate seats in the House, you have no chance.
No, that's not shade at all. The great Stephen A. Smith, he'll join us with more on his warning to the Democratic Party. But we begin tonight with the One Big Beautiful Bill, which just cleared another major hurdle, advancing out of the House Rules Committee at this hour. My sources, they are saying that it is very close to getting to yes, meaning it could pass even shortly. We're watching the House floor very closely tonight. And very soon it will be up for a House-wide vote, which will likely pose the last major obstacle before the BBB bill, as they like to say, is signed into law. One big, beautiful bill. Needless to say, in the USA, it's not easy to pass a major piece of legislation. My entire adult life following politics, that has not been the case, especially when Democrats are standing in the way and you have slim majorities. Last night, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries posted a pretty embarrassing picture of himself holding a baseball bat with the caption, quote, "House Democrats will keep the pressure on Trump's one big ugly bill." Well, I guess this was what, supposed to be menacing, threatening, more love from the party of mostly peaceful riots, of course. Now, if you actually knew anything about how to swing a bat, the Democrats, they wouldn't lose the congressional baseball game every single year. But that's besides the point. I digress. Now, tonight, it's clear Democrats do not really seem to know or care what's even in the bill. Their only motivation is to lie to the American people, scare old people about what's not in the bill, and as per usual, stick it. To who? President Trump, as usual. Take a look.
I was asking you about no taxes on tips, which is part of this bill for working people who work on a tipped wage. Do you support that?
You know, I haven't looked seriously at it because I haven't thought they were serious about it. You know, tips are income, and I would prefer just to have a much more progressive income tax, so people who are making a lot of money are paying more.
I never really thought about working men and women, and yeah, that would be a huge savings to them. I've never thought about it. Meanwhile, we have been talking about it the entire election campaign in 24 and all this year. Now, whether they are willing to admit it or not, Raskin, his far-left colleagues, they are now poised to vote against what is the largest tax cut in American history. And by doing so, they will be voting for the largest tax increase in American history. As Speaker Johnson rightly is pointing out, they are supporting a $4 trillion tax increase, the largest in American history. This includes a tax increase of 62% on American families, a 22% tax hike for the average taxpayer, and a new 43% tax rate for small businesses. By the way, they will pass that cost on to you. Democrats are literally fighting tooth and nail against what amounts to an extra $10,000 in take-home pay for an average family of four. They are fighting against no tax on tips for people that work so hard in the service industry. I spent 10 years of my life doing it. No tax on overtime. My 10 years in construction, I could have used, no tax on overtime because I worked a lot of overtime. And tax relief for middle and low-income seniors on Social Security. So let's be clear. Democrats do not care about the hard-working men and women in this country, the people that literally day in and day out make this country great. They are stabbing them in the back tonight. They don't care about seniors either, and they are now a dead party that only caters to the radical, woke, left, elitist, socialist class, coastal elites, and that's it. They don't stand for working men and women. They don't care about older people. They claim to. They don't. Tonight, they will prove that in the House. They proved it in the Senate yesterday. So, of course, tonight Democrats are fighting for more open borders. Really? It's not a big enough national security disaster. They fight for the rights of illegals over your safety and against desperately needed funding for border security, a new border wall, and criminal deportations. They want our borders to remain wide open. I don't know why. They champion the likes of Abrego Garcia. They go after ICE out in Los Angeles while they're busy arresting child molesters, murderers, gang members, and drug dealers. Makes sense to you? It doesn't make sense to me. But they're fighting for criminal illegals also to stay in the country. Remember, Kamala wanted to offer them free sex change, taxpayer-funded sex change operations. Tim Walz wanted taxpayer-funded college education for illegal immigrants. This is an undisputed fact, backed up by the last 4 years. So now would be the time to fix what was the most preventable national security disaster in history, secure the border, deport millions of unvetted Biden-Harris Mayorkas illegal immigrants, and they refuse to do it. As the vice president pointed out, all the criticisms of the bill are immaterial compared to the billions for ICE and immigration enforcement. In fact, this one big, beautiful bill would make it impossible to deport 1 million illegal aliens each year with 10,000 new ICE agents, 5,000 customs officers that are hired, 3,000 new Border Patrol agents, all while providing the necessary funds to finish President Trump's big, beautiful border wall, while also creating untold thousands of high-paying career jobs for Americans. And according to Border Czar Tom Homan, this bill must pass right away. Here's what he said.
Today, we have the most secure border in the history of this nation. You can have some comfort of that. But the reason we have the most secure border in the history of this nation is because of President Trump's policy and having DOD assets assist Border Patrol on the border. That's why we have that most secure border, which is why we need the big, beautiful bill passed, because that puts more Border Patrol agents on the border, maybe relieve DOD assets. That puts more ICE agents on the streets of this country to arrest more public safety threats and national security threats. I looked at numbers this morning. Over 200 Iranian nationals have been arrested by ICE and brought in. With more resources, we do more than national security work across the country.
Let's get rid of the known terrorists. Let's get rid of the murderers and the rapists, other violent criminals, the cartel members, gang members, and drug dealers. This bill also moves America towards energy dominance. What does that mean? That means we can be an energy-rich country. Everybody will benefit. It funds, by the way, the Department of Defense to build out the next generation of weaponry. We live in a very, very dire, dangerous world. We see that with Iran. We see it with China. We see it with Russia. The military was completely ignored and depleted under Biden and Harris. This bill also goes a long way towards reforming and beginning the process of fixing this broken educational system that is failing our children. It is time to pass the bill, fix the border, deport illegals, modernize our military, and secure a massive tax cut for every single American. And take heart in knowing that this is just the first step in fixing this monumental disaster left by the Democrats. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.